Welcome to Sportpen.
Great to be here.
All right, let's jump straight into a deep dive today. We're looking at the incredible journey of, one of sport's most iconic figures, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Absolutely. We're using the source material you've provided to really unpack things, the key moments, that relentless determination.
And those game-changing performances, right?
Yeah.
The ones that didn't just build his legendary career, but you could argue kind of helped rewrite the story of football itself.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to explore what defines greatness in sports using his story as a lens.
And it's a story that starts, really humbly, doesn't it? Santo Antonio, Madeira.
Yeah. The youngest of 4 kids, grew up poor. His mom was a cook, his dad a gardener, and a kit man at a local club. So football was around.
So it was kind of in the family picture from early on.
Pretty much. His dad got him into it around age 9. And apparently you saw that competitive fire straight away. They called him Crybaby.
Crybaby,
Right.
really? Because he hated losing that much.
Yeah, exactly. Cried when he lost or if teammates didn't pass him the ball. Shows that early drive, I think.
Well, from crybaby to one of the most driven athletes ever, quite the transformation. And speaking of big steps, that move at age 12, that's huge.
Oh, definitely. Leaving Madeira, moving alone to Lisbon to join the Sporting CP Academy. 12 years old.
Yeah.
That takes some serious, guts and focus.
Incredible determination. And the coaches there, they saw it quickly.
Seems like it. The sources mentioned they spotted something special almost immediately. One coach apparently called him a diamond right from the first session.
Wow. So it wasn't long before he was climbing the ranks.
Not at all. Fast-tracked. Turned professional at just 16.
16. That's incredibly young. What was the feeling around him at Sporting then? Was there already a buzz?
Oh, yeah. By 18, the hype was massive. Portuguese press calling him a phenomenon, the biggest talent in world football. But internationally, Euro 2004 was probably the big moment.
I remember that tournament well. He was only 19. Portugal lost that final to Greece, which was a huge upset.
Right, and he was devastated, tears on the pitch. But everyone watching knew, this kid was something else. A star was definitely born there.
And wasn't there a friendly match around that time that really caught Manchester United's eye?
Exactly. Sporting played United in a preseason friendly. The story goes he impressed the United players so much during that game.
That they told Ferguson to sign him.
Pretty much. They urged Sir Alex Ferguson right after the match, apparently. And, Ferguson listened.
That's a great anecdote. So he lands at Manchester United in 2003. Record fee for a teenager then.
Yep. And they immediately gave him the number 7 shirt.
The iconic number 7, worn by Best, Cantona, Beckham. That's a massive statement and massive pressure.
Huge pressure. There's that famous quote, supposedly from George Best himself, saying something like it was the first time being compared to him was a compliment. Ronaldo later admitted he felt he had to live up to it.
And he definitely had the self-belief for it. Wayne Rooney apparently said he'd never met anyone with more self-belief.
That's the word on him. Now, those first few years at United were about adapting, learning the English game. But the 2006-07 season, that's really seen as his big breakout.
Right, and that was after the whole World Cup incident with Rooney, wasn't it? He faced a lot of boos.
He did, but he seemed to thrive on it, almost. Broke the 20-goal barrier for the first time, won his first Premier League title. Showed that resilience.
And the sources mentioned specific coaching really helped him then, becoming more of a team player, more clinical.
Yeah, one-to-one coaching was apparently key, making him less predictable, improving teamwork, turning those step-overs into actual goals. He even won back-to-back Player of the Month awards that season.
Only the third player ever to do that, I think.
That's right, November and December. Then the next season, 2007-08, was even bigger. 42 goals in all competitions. Just phenomenal.
And he learned some mental discipline too, right? There was that headbutt incident.
Yeah, learned not to get provoked so easily. Part of that maturation process. But even then, during all this success at United, those Real Madrid rumors were constant.
Always bubbling under the surface. It felt almost inevitable.
It really did. United even complained to FIFA at one point, though nothing came of it. He stayed one more season, won more trophies, but that move felt like it was always on the cards.
And then 2009, it finally happens. World record fee again. Off to Real Madrid as part of Florentino Perez's big Galacticos project.
Exactly. Perez wanted to end what was, for Real Madrid, a bit of a dry spell. And Ronaldo was central to that plan.
And boy, did he deliver. His time there was just legendary.
Absolutely. 15 major honors, and crucially, 4 Champions League titles. The source material really highlights his impact by pointing out how Real Madrid's performance, especially in cups in the league, dipped noticeably after he left compared to when he was there.
That really shows his value, doesn't it? It wasn't just piling up goals, it was winning things.
And winning the big things. Scoring crucial goals. There's a fascinating statistic mentioned in the sources comparing him to Messi in the latter stages of the Champions League.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It says Ronaldo scored 41 goals in Champions League quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. Messi, in the same stages, had 16.
Wow, 41 to 16. That's a significant difference. It really speaks to performing under pressure, doesn't it?
Exactly. It suggests his goals weren't just padding stats. They were often the difference makers, turning losses into draws into wins, especially when it mattered most.
And you see that in those iconic moments, like that bicycle kick against Juventus.
Unforgettable. 2018 Champions League quarterfinal. So good, the Juve fans gave him a standing ovation. They called it a PlayStation goal. Just technically perfect and audacious.
And then in the second leg of that same tie, things got tense, didn't they? Juventus nearly pulled off a huge comeback.
They did. It came down to a last-minute penalty. 98th minute. Incredible pressure. And who steps up?
Ronaldo, of course.
Smashes it home. Secures the win. And that goal actually set another record. Most Champions League goals scored against a single opponent. 10 against Juventus. They went on to win their 5th title with him that year.
His impact wasn't just at club level, though. We have to talk about Portugal.
Absolutely. Leading them to win Euro 2016, their first ever major international trophy. That was massive for the country.
And remember, he got injured early in that final, but he was practically coaching from the sidelines.
Yeah, showed real leadership, even when he couldn't play.
Yeah.
Just shows his influence. And his longevity for Portugal is incredible, too. Holds the records for most international caps and goals for any male player. Still going strong.
So behind all these achievements, these records, what's the engine? The sources really drill down on his mindset, his discipline.
Oh, completely. It seems fundamental. Apparently around age 11, he consciously decided he had to work harder than everyone else because he felt he was too skinny.
So he took matters into his own hands.
Yep. Started sneaking out of the academy dorms at night to train extra, do weights, work on his speed. That dedication started really young.
And the self-belief was there early, too. I read he told teammates at 15 he'd be the best in the world.
He apparently did. And, you know, he wasn't wrong. He talks about this hunger that never goes away. Losing makes him feel starved. Winning is just a little crumb, still hungry for more.
That relentless drive. It explains the consistency, the ability to handle pressure, those clutch moments we talked about.
Definitely. And it translates into his leadership, too. Demanding, yes, but seems to inspire teammates to raise their own standards, work as hard as he does.
That never-give-up mentality, you see it in so many comebacks his teams have pulled off, and it's interesting how that influence extends beyond his own performance.
Yeah, the sources mentioned this idea of the Cristiano method, current Real Madrid players, supposedly focusing on his approach to daily improvement, professionalism, nutrition.
And even now at Al Nassr, teammates are reportedly training more intensely, watching their diets more because of his example.
It touches on that classic debate, nature versus nurture, talent versus hard work. Most agree elite athletes need both. But Ronaldo is often held up as the prime example of what sheer dedication can achieve.
Like that table tennis story.
Huh, yeah. Apparently, he bought a table tennis table, lost to Rio Ferdinand, then trained intensely for 2 weeks just so he could come back and beat him. That competitiveness runs deep.
Beyond the pitch and the training ground, though, there's another side. The sources mention his charity work, which maybe doesn't get as much press.
True. He was on that top 20 athletes gone good list. There are specific examples mentioned, like helping fund brain surgery for a child,
donating significant amounts for disaster relief, auctioning a Ballons d'Or for Make-A-Wish,
reportedly funding a children's hospital in Chile, things like that. And the detail about him not having tattoos so he can donate blood regularly.
Yeah, that's quite a personal commitment. It adds another layer. And the source mentioned he cried winning his first Ballon d'Or, partly because his father, who got him into football, had passed away before seeing it.
Yeah, quite poignant. It shows a different side, perhaps, to the often intense, sometimes perceived as arrogant, on-field persona.
His career path continued after Real Madrid, of course. A successful stint at Juventus.
Yep, won Serie A titles, named League MVP. Continued scoring goals at an incredible rate.
Then the big return to Manchester United in 2021. Massive fanfare.
Huge hype. Record shirt sales in the first 24 hours, apparently. But that second spell, it didn't quite work out as planned.
No, it became quite challenging, didn't it? Ended with that controversial interview and his contract being terminated mutually.
Right. which led him to his current club, Al Nassr, in Saudi Arabia.
Where he's reportedly the highest paid athlete in the world and still banging in the goals.
Absolutely. Broke the Saudi Pro League record for goals in a season, recently hit 900 career goals. He's very much the face of the league, maybe even a future ambassador for a Saudi World Cup bid.
No, we also need to address that Ronaldo is undeniably a polarizing figure. The sources acknowledge this, the criticisms about perceived selfishness, diving, image consciousness.
Right. And the source material you provided also includes discussion around the sexual assault allegations. Yeah. It's really crucial here we state clearly, we're only reporting on the points raised within that specific source discussion. We're not taking sides, not endorsing any viewpoint, just conveying what's in the material provided, staying impartial.
Okay, so based purely on that source discussion, it notes a U.S. court case was dismissed, but it specifies the dismissal was due to a technicality, how the plaintiff's lawyers handled evidence obtained from football leaks. It wasn't a ruling on the merits of the accusation itself.
Correct. The source discussion also mentions that a financial settlement had previously been paid.
And again, sticking strictly to reporting from the source discussion, it outlines different viewpoints debated within that discussion regarding consent. Arguments about verbal versus nonverbal signals, the meaning of saying no multiple times, counter-arguments about implied consent based on actions, and debates about injuries noted in a rape kit and what they might signify.
The source discussion also references claims made within it about an alleged confession, along with the detail that a recording related to this was reportedly deemed inadmissible in court.
So just to be absolutely crystal clear one more time, we are presenting these points exactly as they appear in the discussion threads within the source material you gave us. We aren't validating or invalidating anything ourselves. Our aim is just to reflect what the provided sources contain about the legal outcomes and the surrounding debate points.
Precisely. It's about providing the full picture based on the information given to us.
Okay, so let's pull back and try to synthesize all this. Returning to our original question, how do we define greatness? Looking at Ronaldo's career, is it the individual stats, the sheer brilliance, or is it team success? How does his impact, both positive and sometimes challenging on different teams, factor in?
It's complex, and his modern legacy includes that massive social media presence, first person to hit 1 billion combined followers, apparently. Though, as the source discussion points out, there are questions about bot followers and whether it's true reach or just footprint. And the debate about his fame versus the sports fame itself.
You can't avoid the GOAT debate either, especially the comparison with Messi. The sources touch on this, noting some see Ronaldo as perhaps the better athlete, physique, power, longevity, while others might lean towards Messi for pure footballing artistry.
Yeah, it often comes down to what qualities you value most. But that unwavering self-belief, that relentless drive we keep coming back to, that seems absolutely central to his whole story, his success, his continued influence.
When you look at it all, his journey really touches on so many themes that resonate beyond just sports fans, don't you think?
Definitely. The power of setting huge goals, the sheer necessity of discipline and hard work, bouncing back from setbacks, how your mindset really dictates performance.
And the complexity of public image versus maybe private actions or motivations. Learning about figures like Ronaldo, even just through analyzing source material like this, gives you insights into ambition, success, and just how multi-layered, iconic figures are.
Yeah, it's rarely black and white.
So maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to consider. There's this interesting paradox with Ronaldo, isn't there? His legend is so built on individual brilliance, those personal stats, that incredible self-focus. Yet, arguably, his biggest impacts, both the triumphs and the controversies, often come from how he interacts within a team and how he's perceived by the public. So how does that intense, maybe singular focus needed to be the absolute best individual athlete affect, for better or worse, the ability to function and thrive within a collective?
That's a great question. It really gets to the heart of team dynamics versus individual stardom. Something to definitely think about.
Thanks for listening to Sportpen.